Hi everyone and welcome back to LL Sports TV and episode 3 of Keep It in the Family. Now if you look to my left you would have noticed that it's not Robbie in the seat. However, it is my boy Jordan. I consider him part of the family.
We are family though, we are kind of family.
Absolutely,
not 100%.
Jordan, if you don't know him already, Supreme TV host, Channel 4, YouTube, AFTV, whatever you want to know. This man's done it. How are you today, Jordan?
I'm good, sir. I'm good. Weather's not great today out there. It's proper autumn now. But you know what? We're good. We're healthy. We're moving.
Absolutely, man. We've got a lot to talk about. Now, so let me start off. How did you spend your weekend?
I was in Paris on the Friday overnight for work. Came back Saturday to London for work. Then got to go to Manchester Saturday night for something, and came back for work Sunday.
There's a reason why I asked you that, because I know from having spoke to you before that you didn't watch the boxing.
I'll tell you what I didn't do over the weekend. You know what I mean?
You didn't watch the boxing, but there's a reason why, because I know you do like your boxing, but you deliberately didn't watch it. And well, take it away. You tell us why you didn't watch the boxing. And by the way, I am talking about the Tyson versus Jake Paul, that boxing.
Boxing, yeah, inverted commas. I mean, I'll start off by just saying, look, I'm not a massive boxing connoisseur. It's not, if I had to rank my favourite sports, it wouldn't be my top 3. I cover boxing because it's my job, right? I'm a sports correspondent, so I'm across all sports because it's what I have to do. But this fight, for me, Laurie, is something that I actively swerved and avoided watching. And when it was first announced a year ago now, I was really sad. My first instinct was, it won't happen. It won't happen, right? It's just not going to happen. They're talking about it, it's not going to happen. And then it got sanctioned, it got licensed, and I was like, oh wow, it's actually happening, right? And throughout I've been consistent, I'm not watching this fight. And people say, oh yeah, you'll watch it. You say that, but you will. I'm like, I'm not going to watch it. The fact that I was busy Saturday night anyway, I couldn't have watched it. But even if I was at home on my own, I didn't have nothing to do, I wouldn't have watched it, because for me, I see it as a freak show. I see it as a freak show, Laura. I see it really much as something that I don't think we should be celebrating. And for me, and I'm going to pull people like you up here, right? Because unlike me, you are a boxing connoisseur. Yeah. You are a boxing lover. Yeah. You know your boxing. I know it's a sport that you hold close to your heart, right? I'm looking at, I was speaking to some of my friends who are also into boxing big time, and they would say, yeah, we know it's a bit of a mess. It's not, it shouldn't be happening. It's wrong, but I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it because I have to, right? People say, talk about it as if it's, the phrase rubbernecking, when there's a car crash on the motorway. Yeah. You shouldn't really look, but you keep looking and you keep looking. So that's what people that I know who love boxing like you said to me. But my response was, whilst I understand the era we're in, YouTubers and influencers generate massive audiences and therefore massive amount of money, by you, the boxing fan, by you contributing to watching this stuff, you are, in my opinion, and it's a prediction, it's not, I could be wrong, you are contributing to what I think is going to be the next 10 years decline of your sport. The sport that you love, the sport that you have watched since you were young, the sport that you respect, the sport you've contributed to, people like you guys are actually helping what's happening. I feel like I'm being
admonished here.
Well, no, I'm just... Carry on,
I can take it.
If it was my sport, I wouldn't like what I'm seeing. Now, you hear the Eddie Hearns and then people say, well, you got to get on board. It's 2024, it's where we are. We need to get more eyes on the sport. You know, some sports are declining. The cricket, rugby, tennis, less so, in terms of participation, on the decline. So everyone's competing with football. Football's the biggest sport in the world. So boxing is no different, I get it. But when those people say, we need to get more eyeballs on our sport, I'm like, cool, and I have no doubt a generation of young fans were watching that fight, and it would have been their first, second or third time watching a boxing fight. My issue is, where's the conversion? So it's one thing getting the people watching it, but are they converting to now saying, right, Monday morning, Dad, take me to the gym, I want to have a little feel of it. Is that what's happening? Because if you look at the next 10 years of your sport, who's going to be fighting? Who are the fighters coming through? So my point is that it's a freak show, but that's just my opinion. That's fine. But if I was a boxing lover, I'd be thinking, this is really bad for my sport. Big Mike Tyson, a legend, fighting a YouTuber. And I don't know much about these YouTuber guys. And he's trained hard, he's earned the right to get in the ring. They get in the ring and respect all people put on gloves, all that rare. But if I'm looking at it from a point of view of, this is my sport, I wouldn't be liking what I'm seeing. And by watching it, an excuse of, oh yeah, but everyone's watching it, and oh yeah, but I might as well. I'm like, you're just contributing to what's going to be my prediction, the decline of the sport that you love.
Very well said, and I can't disagree with a whole lot of what you said there. However, there is one crucial difference in my defence. Now, yes, I did watch it, and yes, I could be accused of hypocrisy and all those things that you mentioned. However, I was watching it because of the commitments I have to DR Sports and to LL Sports. So I was reporting on it in terms of being on a watch-along. However, I did make it clear from the get-go that I thought this fight was a farce. I said, and people out there watching me who know me, I said that the fight stinks. It was a bad night for boxing. It was actually even worse than I thought it would be. That's how bad it was. So yeah, but I do want to make it clear that had I not been asked to cover it for the channel, I would not have watched it.
But here's my kind of rebuttal to that. I hear, again, a lot of professionals over the last couple of days saying, look, this is my job. I have to cover boxing. I have to cover this. And for me, that feels like a little bit of a cop-out. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Because the fact that DR Sports, just because you mentioned them, they're the guys that we're a part of, covered that as a watch-along, contributes to the demise, in my opinion. Because if you guys just said, this is a freak show, we don't want no part of this. Give us a proper boxing fight. Like even KSI versus, what's his name? Logan Paul. Even that for me is I don't want to watch that. But at least that's not a freak show. That's a legitimate fight between two guys that have trained hard at the same kind of level, duking it out. Cool. This was a freak show. So for me, whether you're DR Sports, TalkSport, TNT, Sky, BBC, whatever broadcaster you are, by saying, oh, I watched it because it's our job, that for me feels like we're happy to cash in on the short-term benefits and the views and the numbers, but discarding the long-term pain, if you like, of what it does to the sport overall. And a lot of people that here that were making big money through broadcasting, watching it, presenting, reporting, out there saying like, yeah, we know this is not really good, it's not good. Yeah. They're saying this now, but they're like, I'm like, but you knew that before. All this they're saying now, you knew if this was bad for the sport before the fight. But the reason why you kept quiet was because you knew it was good for your views.
No, well, I didn't keep quiet.
No, fair enough. And I believe you. I believe you.
I did say
but the talk has to match with the actions. There's one thing calling it out before and saying this is a freak show, this shouldn't be happening. Well, do something about it.
Yeah, you know what? Again, you've not said a whole lot of things wrong there. As I said, I covered it as part of my obligations to DR Sports and LL Sports TV. Now, and I did accept a certain degree of hypocrisy. So yeah, I do feel quite guilty about that. And we got to be honest as well, in terms of a commercial viability, the fight was a success. I mean, they're talking about over 60 million views on Netflix alone. So it was massive in terms of an actual event. So in that way, I think DR Sports, forget about me for a second, DR Sports felt obligated to cover it, and I can exactly see why they did that. That being said, though, it was actually worse than I thought. I mean, just going back to what you said initially, the fact that this was even sanctioned as a proper professional fight that will go on their records was to me ludicrous, because when do you ever see a heavyweight title fight, not heavyweight title fight, but a heavyweight professional fight, where they're wearing 14-ounce gloves as opposed to the regulated 10. They're fighting 8 2-minute rounds as well. It was ridiculous. And it went downhill from there, because you saw, well, you didn't see, but Tyson was completely out of shape. I mean, the guy was more or less limping to the ring. He had a leg brace on. The fight started, I say fight loosely. I think he threw one punch in the first round that was half decent, and it went downhill from there. It was a total sham. It was a cynical money grab. And I would go as far as to say that Jake Paul, I now consider him to be a pimp of boxing. And yeah, that's basically what he's doing. He's pimping boxing. Like, boxing's allowed itself to be whored out to people like Jake Paul, because And that is, therein lies the problem, because boxing, unlike the sports you mentioned earlier, like football, tennis and cricket and the likes, they are proper regulated sports with governing bodies that actually act in the interest of the sport. Boxing is completely self-interest and it's all about money. So if you can come in and generate money, like what Jake Paul has been proven to do, and people are saying he was this smart businessman, and yes, to a degree, yes, he is a smart businessman, but what he's also done is pimping out the sport. He's come in with some clout, realised that he can make money for himself and the people in his immediate circle and some of the boxers who box for him, like Amanda Serrano and people like that. But essentially, that's what he's doing. He's pimping the sport, and it's so bad. Like you said, I 100% agree. In terms of long-term, it's really, really bad for the sport. And if anything, it's going to put more people off in the long run. People talk about this, but he's bringing eyes on the sport. But they're not boxing fans.
They're not. And to be fair to him, he may well love boxing. He might actually be a boxing fan. This might not be... Oh, he's making lots of money from it, but this might not be a joke for him. And I guess when you put yourself through the camps and the training to be able to get in the ring, that's not an easy thing. So for him, he may genuinely love this sport, fine. My issue isn't even with him. My issue is, as you said, the people that are meant to be protecting the sport. It's like, yo, what are you doing? And the mere fact, I was on a train from Manchester back Saturday morning. It was about 8:39 in the morning. I got a train from Manchester. And I was on Twitter. And the mere fact, I had to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll to find a clip, says to me, this fight wasn't good. This fight was not good. Because if the fight was any good or even interesting, every third, remember, at what time, UK time, did the fight start?
It would have been about 4:30 in the morning.
So it would have finished 6?
Yeah.
6 o'clock, right.
That time, yeah.
So bear in mind, my train was at 9:30. It's 3-4 hours later. This is fresh trending time. If the fight was any good, every third clip should be a Tyson. I had to scroll. So whether the fight was good or not is for me irrelevant. Even if it was a good fight, still a freak show.
Yeah.
But it makes it worse, the fact that it was such a bad fight anyway.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I don't know if you have thoughts on whether it was scripted or not. I don't know. But the whole thing was a sham for me.
It was scripted, I think, insofar as once Jake Paul realised, and that would have been pretty soon after the bell went, that Tyson was absolutely no threat.
Yeah.
And basically, this is what my personal opinion is. What he did is he thought, you know what? I can get this guy out of here. I can knock this guy or stop him anytime I want. But you know what? If I do that, then people, A, are going to say it was, completely ridiculous, which it was. And B, they're going to say, you've knocked out a genuine boxing legend. And there's going to be a lot of fallout from that. There's going to be a lot of hate on him.
You think he cares about that?
Say,
I
I think he probably did. I think because you got to understand. Well, listen, I'm not trying to insult your intelligence, but we all know Tyson is a boxing legend, certified boxing legend. Can you imagine the aesthetics of that? Of Jake Paul standing over a prostrate Mike Tyson, 58 years old, doing that.
I don't think he cares, Laurie. I think he's enjoying being the heel. I think he's enjoying being the bad guy. I think he's enjoying being...
Oh, he's still the bad guy.
The guy he wants to be. But he would have been the bad guy even more. Yeah. Therefore, you get other boxers saying, what? You knocked out a lip? No, I'm coming for you now. So I think... I'm not so sure
what about if Jake
that.
Paul looks at it and thinks, well, if I do enough to show my dominance, to make it look like I could have knocked this guy out when I wanted to, but I didn't, then what I've done is I've kind of played both sides.
But these guys are visual marketers. They feed off of clips and content. So the content of knocking out Mike Tyson, that lives for forever. Yeah. Whereas dragging out a 10-round fight...
But it wasn't competitive, though. That's the thing. There was, apart from that punch that Tyson landed in the first round, I'm speaking honestly now, I don't think he landed a decent punch in the rest of the so-called fight.
The scary thing, I think, as a boxing fan for you guys, that hardcores, is the numbers were good for Netflix. Yeah. It will happen again. They will do this again. It will be him against, all right, so he fought a legend of 35 years ago, retired. Let's get someone, what about Mayweather? Someone that's maybe more recently retired. What about someone's, they'll do it again.
Yeah.
They'll do it again. I'm just like, if you're a boxing lover, I just think by watching this stuff and paying for it, whether you've got Netflix or if it's on, you're contributing for me to the freak show that's going to, again, it's a prediction.
I must admit, I was a little bit uncomfortable with the whole thing. And I said that on the show that I did for LL Sports TV and in the preview that I did for DR Sports. I said I was a little bit uncomfortable because I was aware of possible criticism. People are going to say you're a hypocrite because there you are on the one hand. But then, as I also said, there have been lots of other fights throughout the years in boxing that I've also thought were not good fights, you know what I mean, or not
Shouldn't have happened.
And I've commented on those as well. So it's one of them, man. But I do take on board what you're saying. I mean, it was absolute farce, total non-fight, and that was the thing as well. Not only was it the whole build up to it farcical, but what they served up on the night wasn't even entertaining, because Tyson was not able to.
There you go.
58 years old, the guy could barely stand up. He almost limped to the ring, and he had this kind of stumbling gait about him.
There you go.
And he didn't look right, man. He had that vacant look on his face. I can't quite describe it. He looked like he was in a trance, is how I said on the night.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched it back. I would never do that to myself.
No.
But the whole thing was just a real poor circus act.
It was,
and I hope we never see the likes again. But as you said, Jordan, it's possible that we could do.
It's probable.
Because commercially, it did well.
It's money,
60 million views. Let's face it, I think Jake Paul is estimated to have made about 40 million. 40 million for that. I mean, most fighters don't even go anywhere.
Career.
Yeah, exactly. You could get about
one night.
Thousands of fighters and they wouldn't even made a tenth of what.
There you go.
So, and Tyson made 20 million.
And I'm not, like I said, I'm not hating on Paul, right? Like, do your thing, make your money. He's done nothing wrong. It's just like I said, from an observer from the outside, I'm looking at thinking to myself, A, this is a freak show for me, but second of all, the people that friends and colleagues of mine that are watching it, I'm like, you're contributing, but if I don't watch it, what's my view? My one view? Well, if I had that attitude, then do you know what I mean? So I just think those are, for the next time it comes round, those that call yourself boxing lovers. Look, if you don't think it was a freak show, then fine. If you think actually it's a legitimate fight, I'm going to watch it, I want to see then that's cool. My point is for people that have been saying that it's a freak show, yet watching it. I'm like, if this is bad for the sport, why are you watching this?
Well, thank you very much, Jordan. I mean, you've heard what he's had to say there. Do you guys agree with Jordan? Do you think he's got a point? I mean, even though he's directed him comments at me,
you're getting most of it.
I actually do think he makes a very salient point. However, as I said before, I watched it out of my commitments to the channel. I felt that I had to watch it, but, you've definitely given me food for thought. But what do you guys think? Do you think that people like myself who actually tuning in and watching these fights are doing the sport a disservice just by watching?
Sorry, before I know you're wrapping up there, but just I want to make it clear that I'm not anti the younger generation or YouTubers or influencers kind of carving out a different lane in the sport. So we see a lot of these what do they call these YouTubers that have these football matches?
Well, it's Misfits.
Is it called Misfits?
Yeah.
So the name for it in football, they do it at the
it's a Misfits promotion, and it kind of goes under that. They've kind of created a lane.
It's all there, yeah.
Okay. Like, I mean, so for example, Tommy Fury, Tommy Fury, he's the younger brother of Tyson Fury. He's just announced he's going to be fighting ex-MMA guy, Darren Till, in a fight.
Okay.
And that is kind of falls into that Misfits boxing lane as
well. But I was going to use an example of, wasn't KSI in a football match recently where he was in goal or something? What kind of things? Yeah. I don't watch any of them things. I don't watch those things, but I don't think that's a freak show. Like, it's just, really poor footballers and some semi-pro footballers having a game. They've got massive followers between them, big audiences. Cool. I'm not against that. I'm not anti that. I'm not an old man here shouting. What's that meme of what's the Bart Simpson granddad? He's shouting to the crowd. I'm not doing that. Like, do your thing, make your money, young people, create your lane. I think that's different though to this. This was what I would call a freak show. I'm not anti-influencers coming into a sport and creating a lane for their audience. No issue. I'm anti putting up a 58-year-old man. Forget the fact it's a legend. Why is a 58-year-old man fighting a 27? What are we doing here?
31-year.
It better be scripted.
31-year age difference. The biggest age gap ever in the history of professional boxing.
Not cool.
And like I said, the fact that was sanctioned as a professional fight, I have a serious problem with that. At least with the Tommy Fury Darren Till fight, it's kind of down that Misfits lane.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, they're both a lot similar in age.
It's a fair fight.
Is ex-MMA, he's not had any professional fights yet, but Tommy Fury's a novice pro, and he's kind of going down that road.
It's a fair fight.
Yeah. It's a lot fairer than what we saw.
I hope this was scripted, because if it wasn't scripted and you're putting a 58-year-old man in the ring with a 27-year-old, Come on, if that's not scripted,
Well, something serious could have happened to Tyson.
This is what I'm saying. I'm saying
to me, he's already showing
it better
signs.
be scripted.
Yeah, exactly. Because to me, Mike Tyson is already showing signs of neurological damage.
Yes,
He clearly
yes.
slurs his words.
Yes.
And when you watched him walk to the ring
You didn't look
on
right.
Friday, he did not look right. He had, as I said earlier, like a stumbling gait.
Okay.
Which is kind of reminiscent of somebody that has balance problems when they get older in
Okay.
life and they have neurological issues. So he clearly wasn't right. I mean, as you said, he'd taken ill earlier in the year when they were supposed to have fight. They called it off. And from what we're hearing now, it was a serious illness.
Okay.
He collapsed,
Yes.
was hospitalised.
Wasn't he in a wheelchair for a while?
Yeah, he was in a wheelchair, and he's since said that he could have died. So that tells you it was very serious. But anyway, thanks,
Yes.
Jordan. You've
Cool,
heard
man.
what Jordan's had to say. You've heard what I've had to say. I'd love to know what you guys think. I thought it was very important to get Jordan's views on it because he kind of come at it from a slightly different angle, which I respect. So let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching LL Sports TV and the Keeping It in the Family episode 3. Like, share and subscribe. Catch you later. I'm out. Thank you.